Okay, I'm going to show you how to edit the template for the Folio box product mockup. You're going to want to use two vertical images, and all you're going to do is really click and drag them from a folder on your computer. So I've opened up my Finder menu. I'm on a Macintosh. I'm not really sure how you would do it on a PC, but I'm assuming from the last time I used it, it's going to be fairly similar. You're going to open up another window. Try to find a folder with as many images as you can possibly put that you want to use in your marketing, and put them all in there so that you're not having to search for them. I put them all into one folder on my Dropbox, and I'm going to select two images that are vertical. So I'm going to click on my first image and I'm going to drag it over onto our template. And it's going to take a couple of seconds for it to load, and then you're going to see this image pop up, and it's going to create its own layer on top of the layer with your template. Go ahead and click enter to set that image, and I'm going to click on the layer and drag it underneath the template layer. So now it's going to appear behind these little cutouts I have on the mat of the template. Now we want to use our transform tool. If you don't automatically have your transform tool popping up, you can find it under the edit menu, and then go down to transfer to rotate. Once you have that selected, I want you to rotate your image. What we're trying to do is line it up with the angle of that mat. So if you look at the bounding box of your image and try to line it up with the edge of that mat. Okay? Now we're going to scale it to make it smaller to fit within this area. So we're going to go to Edit, to Transform, to Scale, and holding down the Shift key on your keyboard, we're going to click one corner of that image, and we're going to scale it down to fit as if it's coming through that mat. And I'm just going to have, scale my image down just beyond the mat so it doesn't show these little checkerboarded transparencies behind that template. And I'm going to click return to set my image. And then you can use your mouse to kind of move it around to make sure that you are cropping it where you want within that mat. Now we're going to get our second image, and we're going to click and drag it over again. And we're going to do the same thing. So my image this time is actually set below the template layer, which is great. If it doesn't come in that way, all you have to do is click and drag it below like we did before. I'm going to click return on my keyboard to set that image. And we're going to do the same thing. Only this time I don't really need to rotate this image that much. As you can see, it's just barely coming off of there. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to transform my image and scale it down, holding down my Shift key again. And I'm just going to reduce the size of this image to fit behind that mat. And I'm going to see whether or not it's crooked, and it kind of is. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform to Rotate. And I'm going to rotate my image ever so slightly. Okay? And then we're going to move it to position it and crop it where we want. And then once I have it set, I'm going to click return. Now, if you're going to use this template over and over again, I want you to save a copy of the Photoshop file. So you can save it as File to Save As, and wait for that dialog box to come up. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to call this Working Copy. And I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file because then I can go back and edit this and use the template as many times as I want. I'm going to click Save. I also suggest that you keep all of these on a Dropbox file so that if anything happens to your computer, you will always have that backup. So once that is set as a Photoshop file, now I'm going to flatten my image. I'm going to go to Layer and scroll down to Flatten Image. And I'm going to save this as a JPEG. File, Save As, and I can take the working copy off, and I'm going to change the file format to JPEG, and you can save that on your computer and on Dropbox, and I'm going to click Save. going to save it as its maximum image quality because I'm going to want to use this in my printing marketing as well. If you're also going to use this in your online marketing, you can just lower the file size here down to about a medium. I like to set my high so I can come back and reduce the size of the image in Photoshop to what I want for whenever I'm going to use, in whatever platform I'm going to use it on. So once I'm done, I'm going to click OK. And it's ready to start using in your marketing.